So in this tutorial, I'll be covering some of the top plugins I used and my favorite sounds I use in production. The first one is the EZ keys. So the EZ keys gives me what I want for the grand piano and electric piano, but I prefer it for the electric piano. So this is an example of how it sounds. So that's that for the EZ piano, and I'm using the default E piano. So the next thing here is a jazz guitar, and I got this jazz guitar from called M1. So you could find it on that browser. Then when you pretty sure your M1 is on program mode, and you can find it on guitar. So when you search it, you'll see it around somewhere here. So that's it for that. So it sounds this way. So using the jazz guitar with pitch bend or the modulation will give some nice feelings. Now the next one is the pad. So I use for my pad, I use the Korg M1 also, and there's the default pad I love so much, and you can find it under synth pad, and it's the name is something universe. So you could just it's somewhere here, so you could just go about it till you see it. Nevertheless, it sounds this way. All right, so I use it during worship or something when I need that kind of sound. So that's it there. So the next one I use is a wave pad, and most of my pad sounds are mostly from Korg M1. So this is how it sounds basically. The pad, I go to the pad sounds, yeah, synth pad. So the wave pad, you can see the wave pad here. So it sounds this way. It sounds this way. So it gives me this soft feeling I desire. So that's that about pad. So let's see. Here we have, okay, I think it's the same pad I just showed you, the same wave pad. So the next one is the tabs. These tabs, I use it for praise and probably songs that have up tempo. So it sounds this way. So I dual it with various sounds for praise like E piano and all of that, and I use it individually for different kind of song. Now these tabs you can find it on under I think called M1. Yeah, you could see that most of my plugins are mostly Korg, you understand, because they have the best synths you can ever think of. So you don't need all those big plugins before you get this. Yeah, it's on synth add, so you have it on your this tab. So that's the synth sound I use for praise. Now my bass guitar, I use modo bass guitar basically. I think I love the bass guitar because it sounds more realistic and more natural. All right, so this is how the modo bass look like. So one of my favorite, you have various bass to choose from, and the one I love using basically is this Imperial bass. So I love the sound so much. So if I'm to track anything that require bass, I use that for that. So my rich lead sound, this is one of the synth sound I use a lot for. I use it from Korg Tritone basically because I love the feel it gives. So you can find this rich lead sound under lead synths here. So you just need to search, then you see it somewhere like, so this is it here. So this is how the rich lead sound. So I use that a lot, mostly in my production. So the another one, common one is the RB lead. And this RB lead is also under Korg Tritone. It's also a synth sound. So you can see most of my synth sounds are mostly from Korg Tritone because they give me what I desire. So you can find it here, RB synth. So this is one of the synths you hear most people use a lot. So if your keyboard has a modulation wheel, you definitely enjoy all these synth sounds better. So here's the organ sound I use, and it's from Korg Tritone also. So you can see most majority of my sounds are mostly from Korg Tritone, and I'm satisfied with it. So you can find this organ sound on, if you go to make sure your Tritone is on program, then go to your organ organ sound, and this is it here, the full drawbars here. So it sounds this way basically. So that is that about the organ. For my sax, I use what is known as Sax Lab. So the plugin looks like it gives a more realistic sound for sax. So it looks like this, then it sounds this way. So that's that I use for my sax. My grand piano mostly, I use S-Pan for it because I love S-Pan piano. You could use more complex pianos based on choice, but I love the grand piano and the ability to reduce the release here also is another sweet thing I enjoy from this um, S-Pan. It has a lot of great tools. So that's the piano you heard from S-Pan basically. So I think to me it's okay. So another guitar I use the guitar from S-Pan also. You could find this guitar under go to your guitars. Yeah, your guitars, then you go to those first one or this second one. I think that's what I use majorly. No, string acoustic. I use this guitar a lot, and trust me, you don't want to play it as if you're a keyboardist. So I just use for basically arpeggios, something like this. So that is expand lead guitar. So there are other better guitar like Ampo and all of that, but I hardly use it. So if there's any reason for me to use any guitar at all, and I'm not able to get the sound, I look for sample that can give me the same result. Now this is your Ampo guitar. Though I'm not really a fan of this guitar, I don't really like it for some reason, but some people like it. So it sounds this way. So yeah, so if you're to play the guitars and you know you need something more professional, it's advisable you get a guitarist or just try to improvise with samples. Now this is the last one, the app additive drums. Now this is one of the favorite plugins for drum for people, and one of the plugin I use is the Studio Program Clean. You understand under the Studio Program, so it sounds this way. So those are the sounds I use basically for production.